We're actually not trying to work against the ego, we're actually moving in with the stream of consciousness. It's the difference between duality of the ego and moving into, you know what, I need to pay this, I don't know how I'm going to pay this, or this is a great obstacle in my relationship, I'm not quite sure how to address this, or, you know, it's in foreign territory, I'll just let it be. It's very different that you're trying to deal with the ego or duality, or purely say, I can now shift into the unknown territories. I'm not quite sure what I need to say to my boss. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to handle this. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to move to. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next. It will show up. That faith, that trust, that sense, and I'm talking about naivety. I'm not simply saying, you know, you're totally broken, you need to pay your rent, and you're going, it will just happen. You know, we got to make certain things happen. I'm talking about relationships, people, careers. It will just show up. And I will just sit and wait for that. That is what the Kundalini is looking for, to see that shift in your perception and reality. And the second phase of this is where all of a sudden ABC starts to shift or start showing up, and you just sit with it. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to do this, you sit with the answer. And that sounds sort of odd. Like, I need to go talk to my husband. I don't need to do it right now. I'm just going to sit with this. And what happens is that we get out of the human aspect of doing. We enter into the being part. And in the heart, when we say, you know, I need to talk to my husband, or I need to talk to my wife, or now I know the answer. When we sit with the truth, the heart magnetic field changes. And then when we do act on it, then at that particular moment, the resistance or the reactions we would have gotten have been dissolved. Does everybody understand that? So we don't act upon, oh my God, I need to do this. It's like, I need to get a job, or I need to talk to my husband. And so this is how I'm going to approach it. And I'm just going to sit with it so that my heart, from a pure form of consciousness, can shower me with the words or the wisdom that I will bestow when I speak to my husband or my wife. And I have the opportunity to bathe within that grace. The difference in doing that is so profound, because you're coming from a place of such wisdom. Very few people get to that particular point. And
I was going to say, for me, it's almost like I'm holding a note, like a very strong note, you know, or a very high note. And this note is like the highest of all highest thoughts. And if I can just sustain this note and go through it, then that's a state of being.
right. It's I am such bliss. I can't begin to tell you. I'm just like, whoa. That is the dance between yourself and God. And when we need to know the information now, we lose that dance. And once we get what we know what we need to do, we don't just jump on it. We let it percolate. And that's intimacy between ourselves and God. And our heart has the ability to repair itself. Because in the past, we would go, okay, Bob, we need to do blah, blah, blah. And so the heart actually structurally changes, like genetically changes, cellularly changes. And when we deliver what we're needing to deliver, we deliver it with such compassion. They might not get it, but it doesn't really matter. But we're beginning to find a new way of true intimacy with ourselves and God, and the people around us begin to change every time.
And sometimes you don't even have to make the change outwardly.
It's just
already shifted.
90% of the time, what ends up happening is that 90% of the time, and this happens to my relationship with Pascal it's interesting, we don't really have all these outward conversations. We have a lot of conversations. But out of the blue, you know, he'll be unpacking the dishwasher, or I'm unpacking the dishwasher, and he'll say, you know, I'm glad we didn't do that. And we've had no conversation. But he's held a space of awareness where we don't have to have this, well, I think you should do this, and I want you to do this, and I want you to do that. And people that are in my life basically realize that there's this dance between Pascal and I. You know, sometimes Pascal, I don't want to do that. I just resist. But he does the same thing to me. It's a part of a journey. But if you watch this relationship, we work without very few words because we're in sync. We don't need to blame or judge, and we can sit with a greater possibility. And so when you can hold that, 90% of the time when you need to execute something, it's already executed or it's already resolved before you get there.